Hey guys, welcome to the 7th installment of the TOBEs.
Yes.
Which is Think Outside the Box episode.
Yes. I borderline almost forget that
I
every
do
single
too.
fucking week.
I never remember until I'm like saying it. I'm like, it's Think Outside the Box episode. Yeah. So we can't really remember the title, but we know we're trying to enlighten you on some stuff and get you to think a little differently. But
For sure.
Steve's going to take the floor first.
Yes. So, I've been on this calm kick.
Yep.
I'm stealing so much of the shit I feel like I should be paying them or they're paying me or something. Something should be happening.
We always mention people should sponsor us on the Patreon where nobody's going to fucking see it. Do you notice that?
Yes.
We never shout it out on the regular episode.
No.
Like, hey, give us a sponsor. It's always behind the paywall.
Yes, man. But it's a dumbasses.
Right.
But the Calm app, it is a paid app, so I'm happy to share some of that knowledge that's on there because it's changing my life type shit. So there's a masterclass on there. It talks about the importance of rest, not sleep, rest. So I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy because that's what I thought. Like, oh, resting, probably taking a nap. Like, no,
Right.
It's not about sleep. And when I listen to it, in a nutshell, the guy talks about how the type of rest that you get could either help or hinder something that you do regularly. So whether it be working or if you're trying to get better at even like playing an instrument or anything, you know what I mean? The type of rest that you, or let's just say the how you choose to spend your downtime can either help or hurt you in performing those different things. So, for example, he talked a lot about, let's say you're stressed out from a 40-hour work week, right? You can go home and you take a nap, you can sleep it off or whatever. Or that's one way to kind of decompress, just physically getting away from it. But we all have those moments where we go back to work and we're like, God damn it, I had 2 days off, but fuck. Like, I'm still just as frustrated as I was. You couldn't wait for that Friday, so you go, oh, yes, I got 2 days off. Yes.
To decompress.
Yes. And you go back on Monday, you're like, no, that didn't happen.
Right.
And the reason for that is because how we spent those 2 days away. A lot of people, even though they're away from work, they're still doing work-like things, checking their emails or, talking to people from work about work, even though you're not at work,
Right.
Like when you don't truly, that's one way, like if you can't fully get away from it, it tends to not, help you decompress. And then when you go back, you're not as effective. Another thing I talked about on there was the average 40-hour work week. Like in America, we've become like kind of desensitized to, 40 hours, 40 hours. Who said that was the most ideal,
Right. It's just a number.
Yeah, it really is. Who's to say even that somebody who works 70 hours a week is more productive than somebody who works 30 or 40?
Right.
It's little things like that we don't think about that kind of open my mind a little bit more to the things, or being more mindful of what I'm doing when I claim I'm taking a break from work or I'm off work or I'm on vacation. And one thing I thought that was super interesting that he talked about is that like the best way to decompress is to actually do something that is kind of like mind stimulating. You know what I mean? Like, say, for example, I'm learning how to play piano, and I'm fucking stressed out over it a lot, actually. Let me be real with you, because that shit is not, my fingers don't want to cooperate and shit sometimes. So instead of just laying in my bed, for example, and just doing nothing, which may be effective, it may, like, why don't you go play, I don't know, a fucking, like, a very mentally intense, like, video game. That type of stimulation to where you're still working your brain. It's just completely off of what you were trying to do, though. Right. A lot of times you'll go back to what you were doing, and you'll be more effective at it, picking it up, learning it, and then just say you taking a nap or laying in your bed and stuff. And I tried to put that. I've only ever done it for a couple of days, but I like it. Another thing he talked about was like physical exercise, even like that type of activity. It activates certain regions of your brain that makes it easier for you to truly like decompress. You know what I mean? The answer isn't always like, man, I need to rest. Physically resting, doing nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like keeping your brain active, but keeping it active in a way that or getting it off of something onto something rather that's not work related. Period.
Right.
You know what I mean? And deliberately doing that. So
I actually I've kind of known that for a little while, but and I've used that quite a bit for a lot of different things when I was growing up. Like for instance, playing guitar. If there was a certain riff I couldn't get and it was frustrating me and pissing me off, I'd put the guitar down for an hour and then come back and I'd maybe not get it right away, but much quicker.
right.
Because I decompressed, I let the stress go, focused on something else and came back to it. Same with drumming. If I couldn't get a certain beat down, I'd just get upset and throw my sticks and blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Right.
Come back 2 hours later, and I'm like, okay, and kind of work it out and then get it relatively quickly. Skateboarding, even, did that a lot with skateboarding, come back and was able to land the trick a little later, and things like that. But they actually say that too with like studying for tests. It's not good to study for an hour straight. What they say is study for 15 minutes and then take 5 off. And then come back 15 minutes and 5 off, and then 15 minutes and 5 off, or whatever. And it's just you get a lot more out of it, because especially with studying, they say, I don't know what the statistic is, but you only retain like 60% or something, whatever the number is. But if you do 60% of that hour, that's probably not as effective as 60% of this 15 minutes and then 60% of this 15 minutes.
Right.
Then 60% of this 15 minutes. So now you're at 80%.
Right.
Rather than 60. I don't know what the number is, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So
right.
it's definitely important. Definitely something that I've used, because we were actually told that in school, is that it's not good to cram for a test. Everybody was told that. But if you have to, this is the best way to do it.
Okay. Now, in between those times, do you remember what you did?
Other shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be, a million different things. A lot of times, actually, and this sounds like the fat ass in me, but like going to get something to eat.
Okay.
Going to eat and like, getting your mind off stuff and re-energize and kind of things like that. And then coming back, and now you're back at center level.
Right, but yeah, the key, it seems like throughout, was to completely take your mind off of it.
Right.
Like even for those 5 minutes.
Right.
Don't even think about homework whatsoever. Completely detach from it. And that seems to be the key point that I forget the guy's name on the app who was doing the class, but
yeah.
And he said just being mindful of the fact that you can rest. There's other ways to mentally decompress and rest without physically sleeping, or even like going on vacations and all that, which that helps. You don't get me wrong, but you can easily take a week off of something, your job, and then go back and be just as frustrated as you were when you left, because for whatever reason you didn't take your mind completely off of that, or do things that would kind of help you mentally like stimulate enough to where you was able to go back and deal with that, in a different way.
Well, the last thing I'll add on this, like, I had a week off work for furlough, and they were saying, I don't know how true this is, but it's a big company and it's very possible, but it was in the email to like everybody in the whole corporation. It says when you take your furlough, the week, you cannot answer emails, you cannot log onto your computer, you cannot answer texts or phone calls. And they said, we do have it monitored and we'll know if you log into your computer.
Wow.
And they probably do. Honestly, it's a very high-tech company. They have a lot of that shit, so I'm sure they do. But it was nice because I would get phone calls and I'm like I know my customers, and I'm like, okay, this is Spectrum. and it's a pretty big customer. I can't answer. Like, and it felt weird because I take my job seriously, but at the same time, I was like,
right,
can't do it. And then when I came back, man, I felt so good.
right.
I felt so much better. And I mean, I thought about work and, would get phone calls and things like that. And my laptop's like right over there. And I'm like, I can't open it. I literally can't open it. And it was cool and it was good to kind of get that release and stay away from it in that way. So that definitely helped.
Cool. What you got?
My thing is something that I always kind of, I noticed as a kid, when I was probably 7 or 8, and it's just something that's always stuck with me. And I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast before, or really ever. I'm not sure, but it's something that I kind of bring up periodically, and it's the importance of having fun. So it sounds very basic, and everybody's like, yeah, you're supposed to have fun and, again, get your mind off shit and things like that. But as you guys know, especially if you're on the Patreon, you know this, I always think a little deeper about shit. Probably, it's probably not good for me. But when I was a kid, I noticed that every animal, every insect, every bird, every fish, all that kind of stuff, no matter how vicious they are, if they're like hyenas, if they're tigers, if they're lions, if they're sharks, if they're hawks, if they're eagles, just whatever type of animal you can think of, anything with a consciousness makes a point to have fun.
Definitely.
No matter their level of intelligence, even goldfish or, whatever the fuck you want to think of, they all make a point to have fun. And as a little kid, I noticed that, like, whether we're obviously the smartest thing on this planet, right? That's obvious. Not all of us, but most of us. And, but I noticed, like, for me, especially as a kid, and like most of us too, as a kid, the goal is to have fun, right? That's all you're worried about. And I noticed every other living thing on this planet is also having fun. I'm like, that's the one universal thing through all of us. Like, we would all have different levels of feelings. Not an insect might not, feel depression or whatever like we do. They might have more basic feelings and things like that. I'm not sure. I'm not that smart, but I do know that every living thing makes a point to play. Every living thing makes a point to have fun and kind of, to your point, kind of de-stress and not worry about the lions over there and we're the gazelle. We're still going to have some fun here and there.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though there's a vicious ass predator right there, everything makes a point to have fun. So it's interesting to me, and I don't think I could ever be a person that isn't silly. You know what I mean? And I'm serious a lot of the times and things like that, but especially if you know me very well, I'm silly the majority of the time. Sometimes we'll have some deep conversations and things like that, but I'm just fucking goofy.
Yeah, man.
Right? But it's important to me. And the other thing to kind of add to that, like, I'm 28 years old, right? And I'm goofy. That's not going to change. Right. I'm going to be the same way when I'm 80. Right. And that's probably scary and not attractive, but it is what it is. But to me, playing and having fun is the most important thing in the world. What do you think?
Pretty up there. You imagine the world with, like, literally no fun? Like, no. I think I'd want to die.
Right.
Instantly.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
Like, just imagine not being able to physically laugh.
Right.
Like, just
well, I mean, even an insect probably can't laugh, potentially, but they're still playing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
A mosquito's not going to tell you a joke.
Man, I'm sure they got their own jokes among themselves.
Right. But they're not going to physically laugh. But they might do a little dance or something that shows that I'm happy now.
You know what? Yeah. I wonder if, I'm sure they have some version of that, though.
Right. But that's my point. Again,
Yeah.
like, everybody plays, everybody has fun, no matter your level of intelligence or anything like that. And I've never understood those people that just can't have fun. Those super serious people. Like, I just don't get it.
God.
You have no opinions on that?
No.
Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I do. I think like when I just think about like literally everything. You're right. Like I watch a lot of Animal Planet growing up,
Right.
and every documentary they make a point to show these animals, no matter what it is. It could be the bottom of the food chain, top of it, in between. They all, especially amongst their family or their tribe or whatever, they definitely get goofy.
Right.
It's a necessity.
Whether it's a dance
Right.
or a collective like fish swimming in a circle
Right.
or whatever it is,
Right.
they have their own way of having some type of fun and not just being, straightforward and to the point. They all, do something
Right.
to entertain
That is
themselves.
deep, man. That's really deep, though.
And it's cool that I thought of that as a kid, and I think that, helped me stay goofy forever. So, forever goofy. I'm going to get that tattooed.
Forever goofy.
Cool, man.
Goof troop.
Goof Troop for life, son. That's what we should name our Patreon members, the Goof Troop.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe.
Are they goofy?
I mean, probably not. I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to say it on here because I forgot to earlier on the regular podcast. So, I was behind a car.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm going to do it right now because he might be a Patreon member. He got a sticker. He had a sticker,
okay.
red truck, no, black truck, but the, and it was like I don't know, the damn thing that's on the top of the pickup, the back of it. What is that called?
Like a cover, you mean?
Yeah, it's like it's got windows on it though. Like
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he had a sticker on the back, black truck. Like I said, I was behind it. And I wanted to snap a picture of the sticker and send it to you, but he was driving too fast, and
Black truck.
but the part that you open was red, like so they got it replaced obviously, and it was a red piece. And when they bent the corner, dude had on shades and he had a big beard. And I could not think of who that was.
Damn, I don't know.
But I wish I would have got that picture, or I was able to pull up beside him and be like, "Yo, what's good?"
Right. Was it a bigger
Showing
guy?
love. I couldn't really tell, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say he was a skinny dude.
The
but
guy I'm thinking of has a red truck.
I wish he didn't have on shades because I really could have clearly seen his face. But I just seen like a side shot real quick, and he definitely had the beard going on. And yeah, but he clearly had the white square sticker on the back of the Average AF podcast.
The white square sticker. Man, it's hard because we gave a lot of those
I
away
know,
to a lot of people.
And I was so upset I couldn't even wave him down or nothing. Be like,
Right.
yo,
He'd be like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And I was hoping but big black truck and with some red on the back. That's all I could really see. I couldn't even, there was no makes, no models, no nothing on the back of it.
Oh, it might, like a big beard?
Yeah, it looked like, I couldn't see the whole thing, but it was at least down to here, dude.
I'm wondering if it was Cody Loveland. I'll show you a picture of him after this.
Okay.
But he's not a Patreon member, but that kind of fits the description. He might have a red truck or a black truck. I'll have to think it. I did send him some stickers.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll see. I'll pull up a picture.
So
but,
whoever that is, you're not on the Patreon. If you are, shout out to you, bro. I appreciate that.
Let us know if you are. But cool, man.
Yeah.
You ready?
Till next week.
Da-da-da.
Toby for 3.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out that bonus episode from the Patreon. If you like what you see, please subscribe, share the video, like the video, all that kind of stuff. Tell a friend. And if you want to see more of these bonus episodes 3 months before the public, sign up for our Patreon. We release new episodes every week and a ton of other bonus content. You can join for as little as $2 a month. Other than that, we do have merch options and all that kind of stuff. Follow us on socials and everything like that as well. But we do appreciate the support. Have a good day.